Hi, I'm Bonnie from the Fife Sisters. To finish off our St. Patrick's Day dinner, I will be making dessert, and I will be making chocolate mint sandwich cookies. So we'll start off with softened butter. You notice this is not softened butter, this is cube butter. But I live in a humid climate, and I found that when I first moved here, if I softened the butter, then the cookies would go very flat. But then I learned this little tip for humid weather. If you cut the butter into very small cubes, that will keep that from happening. So we'll start off with the butter. The next thing I'm going to be putting in will be unsweetened cocoa. So it's important to put it in. It's a 3/4 cup. It's important to put it in early so that it doesn't fly around the bowl. Next, we will go with 1.5 cups of sugar. That close. This is white sugar. And then next would be 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And it's packed in there.
So why do you put white sugar and brown sugar?
The brown sugar helps the cookies to be more chewy. Okay, let's see, let me give that a little stir here. Let's see, and then next we will put our baking soda, and that is 1 1/4 teaspoons of baking soda. And then it calls for 3/4 teaspoon of salt. 3. So you might be wondering why I didn't sift the dry ingredients together, which you normally would do if you have cocoa powder. So why I'm doing this is that I've learned that any cookie recipe that I come across, if I beat it for 4 minutes, it all gets incorporated. So I don't need to do that step. So we'll give this a good mix. Oh, almost forgot. Then I need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So I'm putting everything in except for the flour first. And almost anything can be mixed well if you do it for 4 minutes. Well, it looks like I forgot the egg, so I will do that right now. Two eggs. Put that right in there. Now when I mix this, because the butter is cold, I need to pulse it in a little bit until it's smooth. Now I'm going to, before I start the 4 minutes, I'm going to scrape the bowl a little bit. So it can be all nice and mixed in. Okay, we will be back in 4 minutes. Okay, it's now been 4 minutes, and this is what it will look like before I add the flour. So now I'm going to add the 2.5 cups of flour. And we'll mix that in. Okay, that looks pretty good. Just a little bit more mixing of the flour, and then it'll be ready. Okay, so now to make these taste like mint, I'm using these Andes baking bits, and I'm putting in about 1/2 cup. Seems to be what we prefer. You can put more, or you can use creme de menthe flavoring or extract. If you use just regular mint extract, it's a little strong. So if you find something else that you like as mint, we add it to the cookie batter, cookie dough. So I'll put that in there. And then I'll just post that in there so it can get in there real quick. Okay. Okay, now I'm ready to scoop. This is a size 60 scoop. That seems to be the right size that I would like. Probably it's going to come out to be about that big of a cookie.
After it's baked?
After it's baked. So if you want a bigger one, then use a bigger one. But what I've found to do, and you would usually, you would chill this dough for about an hour first, but even whether or not you chill it, it's best to take a little cooking spray and spray it in your, because this is kind of a sticky dough, so if you spray it in the scoop, it kind of helps it a lot. So I'm just going to show one here for you. It's still, you can tell it hasn't been, I know it should look about like that.
Good.
Okay, here we have 24 of them scooped, and I will put them in the oven for 9 minutes. Okay, we're ready to take these out of the oven, and I'll show you what they should be looking like. So if you look at these closely, they are starting to have cracks on top of them. And as soon as you see that, you need to take them out of the oven. If you don't see that, then just add another minute at a time. But be careful not to overbake them. Sometimes what I like to do is have the cookies about to be all the same height. And so here's what I do to do that. I just gently tap each one of them. So in case you maybe put a little too much flour, this usually solves any problem like that. I'm going to let these cool for a couple of minutes on the cookie sheet. And normally, if you don't want them to bake anymore, but I do want them to bake in this case for another minute, then you leave it on. But if you don't want your cookies to keep baking, any other cookie recipe, then you should get them off as soon as you can and put them on these wire racks, because they do continue to cook a minute or so. The reason that I left them on the cookie sheet for another minute was you need to be able to slide them onto your cookie rack with this cookie spatula. So that's what I'll be doing right now. Oops. Doesn't work for me. Hi, we're back, and the cookies have cooled completely, and now we're going to frost them. The way I do this, I like to do it like this, is to put a pastry bag in a glass and open it like that, and then spoon in the frosting. Today I'm using the cream cheese frosting from the store. It's a Betty Crocker brand, and you can use any frosting that you like. Some of you have your favorite recipes. And then I'm going to, I did not put any mint flavor in this because there's enough mint in the cookies. Okay, I'm just gonna hold that like that. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna take one cookie, kind of put a little bit of frosting like that, and then put a top on it, kind of push it down a little bit. Let's do another one. You can have less frosting or more. Hey.
Oh, this is good.
And there we have it. We hope you enjoy your St. Patrick's Day.